Well, thank you for joining us again in our little devotional time, our Wonderful Day in the Lord broadcast. I hope you're getting some good stuff out of the book of Job as we've been progressing through this for a long time. And right now we're looking at the wonders of God. It's just the absolute wonders of God that Job had a glimpse of and yet didn't comprehend. And you and I have a better glimpse because we have modern technology and travel and so forth. But even we are at awe at what God has done. It just can take our breath away when we start really contemplating that which God has created and that which God controls day by day, moment by moment around us. And it should give us a wonderful understanding of the magnificent Lord of the universe. That's what should have happened for Job. It wasn't going very well for Job. Job was pushing back, saying that God is simply not all that wise, apparently, or all that sovereign, all that wonderful, because he's making a mistake with Job's life. And God is pointing out all that he has done and all that he is doing, and he's certainly not making a mistake with Job's life. Job needs to see that. And so we're looking at some of the things that God has done. We've looked at the seas and the oceans. We've looked at the rising of the sun. We've looked at the expanse of the earth. We've looked at death. And now he moves on in verses 19 to 21 and talks about light. He says, "Where is the way to the dwelling of light? And darkness, where is its place? That you may take it to its territory, that you may discern the paths of its home. You know, for you were born then, and the number of your days is great." Now, the Lord could be speaking a little bit about life itself because he just talked about darkness in the context of death. And death is a place of darkness. So he could be speaking here kind of metaphorically of life itself and the light of life. Possibly, maybe there's at least a part of that. But I think the bigger picture is light. Who created light? Do we ever think about that? Remember in the creation account, when God actually created light and separated it from darkness. And the creation of light, if you remember in Genesis chapter 1 and 2, especially chapter 1, the creation of light was independent of the sun and moon. So there was a light source. There was a creation of light prior to the creation of the sun. And that is beyond our comprehension. What would that light source be? Well, we're not being told here that particularly, except that God is the creator of light. He has created something that's so far beyond our comprehension that we can only kind of study it in scientific means, but we don't comprehend all it. We can say the light on the earth comes from the sun. Great. But who created the sun? And why does it work the way it works? And how does it do this or that or the other? And how do the seasons come and go? All these things orchestrated perfectly by God according to his purposes, so that we have on our planet, we have different seasons at different places. We have different heat ranges on different portions of the planet. All this planned by God in ways that you and I can not possibly comprehend. Job needed to see that even God is a creator of light. And how about the weather conditions? Verse 22, "Have you entered the storehouses of the snow? Have you seen the storehouses of the hail, which I have reserved for the time of distress, for the day of war and battle? Where is the light, the way that the light is divided, or the east wind scattered on the earth?" Now, basically what I want to speak of here is simply the fact that the Lord has created weather. Now, he says here he creates it for his purposes. He uses hail, for example, for his purposes. We know in the Old Testament, on more than one occasion, hail was used by God to win a battle for the people of Israel. And so he can do that. But just going to the weather itself, who decides the weather, what it's going to be like? All of us watch the Weather Channel on occasion, or the local news and weather report, and we know how inaccurate those reports can be. With the best scientific methods we've got, with our satellites and all that we have, we hardly can predict what's going to happen tomorrow, and we're often wrong. We not only can't control the weather, we cannot predict the weather with any degree of accuracy within a day or so out. The weather, and yet God orchestrates it. God controls it. What a wonderful thing to consider. God is the God who controls weather. And so when we get up some morning and say, this is the day the Lord has made, we will rejoice and be glad in it, we are really saying the Lord controls what's going on right now in our world, including our weather, whether we like it or not. That particular day, He is in charge. Job didn't seem to get a handle on that, so God reminds him. Let's take a look at one more thing tomorrow that God has done.